Hi, Stephen Fenech from Tech Guide here. Today we're talking about the new TCL smartphones, the TCL 10 Pro and the TCL 10L. Now TCL is probably a brand you've heard of. It's a very big name in the TV category. They're very, very popular TV brand around the world. I think #1 brand in China, and they are popular around the world. So their smartphones that we're talking about today aren't actually their very first smartphones. Last year, the TCL Plex was their first venture into the smartphone market. TCL is also the brand behind Alcatel. Alcatel's more of your entry-level, real challenger brand that offers a lot of features and value. And TCL is now their mid-tier to high mid-tier smartphone. Now these two new devices, the 10L is priced at $449. The TCL 10 Pro is $749. So they're the mid and sort of upper mid-tier of devices and offer some great features. And naturally, TCL being a TV company have taken their smarts from their display technology and put them into the devices. I'll show them to you now. This is the 10 Pro and this is the 10L, and both have Next Vision technology, which means that there is smarts in there to give you things like SDR to HDR, real-time conversion. There's also great contrast, great color reproduction. So when you think about it, you're looking at a display on a smartphone quite often throughout the day, whether you're consuming content, creating content, looking at apps, looking at websites. So having a pleasant display to look at, that's a big plus, and that's what the TCL 10 Pro and the 10L provide. We're going to take a look at the features of each of the devices now, but stick around after that. We've got an interview with the TCL Australia boss, Sam Santos. We discuss with him these new devices and how they're going to fare against the competition. We're talking about 5G and the iPhone 5G, what that's going to do to the category as well. So he's a straight shooter, Sam, so you'll really enjoy that interview, but that'll be on once we finish talking about the products. We'll start off with the 10L. Now this is the $449 device. This has got a 6.53 LCD display. You'll notice too in the top left-hand corner there's what they call their dot display, which is a dot notch, and that's for the front 16 megapixel camera to peek out from. You've got it is an LCD screen, so different to the 10 Pro. There's also the 4 camera system on the back here. That's 48 megapixel, as well as an 8 megapixel, 2 and 2. So there's two 2 megapixels, fingerprint reader on the back, and design-wise, it's actually pretty nice. Look at that. It's got a really nice shiny rear panel there. That's the fingerprint reader, as I mentioned. And overall, I think packs in a lot of value, $449. So for your mid-tier device, there are a lot of features. You're also getting that Next Vision technology that we mentioned earlier in the display. And in terms of battery, the TCL 10L offers 4,000 milliamp hours of power. So that's plenty to get you through the day. So that's the 10L. Let's now take a look at the 10 Pro. This is a bit more, this is the $749 device. So this is more, a little bit more refined, a little bit of a sleeker design. It's also got curved edges on the display. It's an AMOLED display as well. So that you can tell just by looking at it, the quality you're getting, the contrast, the color reproduction is really impressive. On the back, you've got a 64 megapixel camera and a 16, a 5 and a 2 megapixels. So that's 64, 16, 5 and 2 megapixel. And you can see as well that it's a smooth, there's no bump on the camera. It's actually flush with the back of the display. The 10L though has a bit of a bump. You can see here, you can tell there's a bit of a ridge here. But the 10L, this just adds to the slick look of the device. It is smooth, level with the rear panel. The only bump you can feel are these dual LED flashes on the back here. But otherwise, pretty smooth looking device, but with that AMOLED display really adds to that attraction. It's a really nice device. Battery wise, it's got a 4,500 milliamp hour battery, which during our testing really did well throughout the entire day. It took us through not only an entire day, but also nearly into a full second day using the device. Now, we spoke about the camera. Let's take a look at some of the images that these cameras produce. Now, here is an image from the 10 Pro. Now, you can tell this was taken on a recent road trip just outside Orange. And you can see from that image that the camera really pumps up the color. It takes the greens and the blues and just really adds to the brightness of the color. And just to show you what I mean, the actual picture itself, that this is unedited. So this is a photo from the TCL. So just to compare these two images, here's the same image taken with an iPhone. So that's the iPhone 11 Pro Max. And what Apple's done here, Apple leaves it to the user to do the editing. So this is kind of closer to real life, and that if I want to pump up the colors, I can do that with other apps, with the phone's own features as well. But have a look at what the TCL sort of does that heavy lifting for you and gives you much brighter, bolder colors right out of the camera. And this is an unedited picture, whereas Apple tend to give you a more real life look and more accurate to true life, whereas TCL would prefer to give you a brighter outlook at life. But here's another image too. One of the big features on the phones too is how it handles not only these great colors, take a look at the blue of the sky there, but also in the darker parts of the image, you can still see a fair amount of detail. Night shots, there's a super night mode on the TCL phones, and they manage to draw out a lot more light than you think is present. The other thing it can do too, it also has a great macro mode. Here's the super macro. This is a real close-up shot of a fern, and you see those little droplets there, and that it was able to focus. And I'm holding the phone only like a couple of centimeters away from that actual plant there. You can see those droplets. Now the 10L doesn't quite have the same strength camera. It's got a 48 megapixel camera, but still no slouch there. As you can see from this image, of the blue is really nicely produced. The greens are quite strong as well, and even in the shadows you can see a lot of detail there. This is a bit of an abstract shot I think I took the other day. So yeah, you can see a lot of those details down the bottom of the image there behind the bench, but even the colors, even in the darker part of the image, the blue still stands out. So you can tell from just looking at those images, the cameras are actually pretty smart when you think about it. We don't buy phones because they make good photos and send good messages. We buy phones because they have good cameras, and these two devices not only have these great displays, but also good cameras as well. So that's a thing that we look for, and as you can tell by those images, they also do a pretty good job. But as I promised, we are now going to be chatting with Sam Santos. He's the head of TCL here in Australia. And we talk about a few things, but he's always been a straight shooter, Sam, always tells it like it is. And we were thankful that he gave up some time to talk to us earlier. Thanks for joining me, mate, on Tech Guide. Really good to see you, mate. It's a shame we can't see you in person under the current circumstances, but still, though, exciting times for TCL. New phones coming out next week.
Yes, great to see you as well, Steve. I mean, it's slightly different doing a face-to-face, but this is the nature of the world we live in nowadays. But yes, we've got some exciting new TCL handsets coming out next week. Two products, the TCL 10 Pro and the TCL 10L. These are mid-tier handsets, very well priced and available through JB and Officeworks.
And as is habit from TCL and the other brand that you run, Alcatel, again, it's like a challenger, sort of the whole value packed in with features. TCL, again, taking up that for the customer, so a lot of value to be had.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's part of our DNA as a brand, and our brand promise is all about display greatness with the TCL smartphones. Display greatness is showing our greatness in the displays, showing our greatness with the brand promise, and then allowing the consumer to show and display their greatness by using the phone and being able to video and take photos and share them and show how great they are. So yeah, it's a new brand promise, and we're pretty excited with the amount of features that we pack into these at really, really good prices.
Just on the display, I think we need to probably illustrate to the listeners and the viewers that TCL is a massive display company. We've obviously got a television arm. So the display that's in these new devices is the Next Vision display is superior quality, because you guys have been making displays for how many years? So you're putting all that technology into that smartphone.
Absolutely. I mean, we look at the TCL TV business, where they're number one in the US, they're number two globally, and in Australia, somewhere between 2 and 3, depending on the time. We've got a lot of experience. We've got a lot of know-how in displays. We're now taking that experience and know-how and putting it into our TCL smartphone displays. We've created the Next Vision technology, which is real-time visual enhancement of the device, and therefore it allows us to have crisper imagery, really good contrast and rich colors, and the displays are just phenomenal, and that's where we have an advantage.
And of course, customers, when they buy a phone, they're buying not only a screen but also a camera, and the camera's also gone to the next level with these new devices, haven't they?
They certainly have. We've applied the Next Vision technology into the cameras as well with artificial intelligence, and we're getting to the stage now where we've got autofocus built into these. We've got zoom capabilities. We've got wide angle capabilities. We've got really good bokeh effects. But the most important thing for us, which we get really excited about, is that we're focusing on the video. So we'll be able to offer you low light video capabilities and also real-time tracking, autofocus and stabilization. It's come a long way.
And price-wise too, to the two models, so we've got the 10L and the 10 Pro. So it's 449 and 749. Are they the price points?
That's correct. The 10L is positioned at the entry level of the mid-tier at $449, and get a lot of value in there with a quad cam camera and big display and so forth. The 10 Pro is at $749, which is at the higher end of the mid-tier, but again, beautiful display. It's an AMOLED curved display. And a real fashion statement with some great colors and nice looking devices.
That mid-tier and sort of upper mid-tier, that's kind of where the customers play, isn't it? Like, not everyone's spending $1,500, $2,000 on a phone. Would you agree that'd be the bulk of the market at that price point?
Yeah, very much so. I think it's become the new premium, to be quite frank with you, as people are starting to watch their pennies and not spend, beyond their means, or they're just watching to see what happens with the economy. But it's where the activity is. It's where the real competitive battleground is right now, is that mid-tier. And the high end of that mid-tier is really where the new premium is. But you've got some fantastic options out there, of which the 10 Pro is one of them. And, I've got to say, the 10 Pro at $749 with all these features and one of the best displays you can have in the industry is great value.
It is, you mentioned, a pretty crowded market in that mid to high mid-tier. A lot of brands that are playing in that as well, including, I think, LG released a phone recently, Samsung. So there are pretty big players in that space. And so TCL, of course, are competing with those brands. How do you think they're going to fare?
I think we've got advantages over certainly over some of the new LG products that we've seen out there. We've got advantages. Our displays are second to none. Our cameras have just got phenomenal technology built into them, especially the video side of things. We're very, very confident. We're very confident that when a customer picks it up and compares it with some of the other products on the market, that they're going to go with us as purely for A, the display, B, the camera, and C, the video. So we're very confident. It's a good product. It looks good. It feels good, and functions fantastic. And you really get great value with the $749 for the 10 Pro and $449 for the 10L.
Sam, we love chatting to you because we know you're a straight shooter. You tell it like it is. I'm going to ask you about 5G. How do you think 5G is faring? Is it too early to get excited about it? Is it the right time? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, look, 5G is an interesting topic. I'm struggling at the moment. We're trying to say, well, what's the premium that you put on a handset that's 5G right now with a network that's not really readily available. You know, it's very difficult to get access to a 5G network. So, but I think we all have to prove ourselves that we are capable of doing 5G, that we've got 5G. I mean, it's a statement, and we're going to have a 5G device coming out within 4 weeks, which is very well priced as well. But really, the chipset in 5G is not ready yet to be in mass production in order to attract the mass consumer. It's too costly, it's too prohibitive. Come Q3 of next year, when the 5G chipsets will be available for the mass market, you're going to see a plethora of devices out there. It's going to be a massive range of various devices that you can choose from. Right now, the network is evolving. It's only the early adopters that are really getting their hands on it. People are aware of the 5G devices, but right now, the benefits are struggling to outweigh the price, and also, more importantly, you get some great 4G devices at the moment that gives you good speed.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Because 4G is not going anywhere, is it, anytime soon? So that's still working fine. But you did mention that TCL does have plans to have a 5G device, later this year? So in a little while, in a few months, or
yeah,
when will
definitely.
that be?
In the next 6 to 8 weeks, we will have a 5G device, and you know, it's going to be a TCL branded product, pretty similar to TCL Pro 10 Pro, and it's going to be well priced as well because it's TCL. We're going to have a lot of features and good value, but at the same time, you know, be aware that the 5G network is not readily available. So it's a statement. It's a statement. We can do it. We've got the know-how. We've got the technology.
It's I think it's probably the worst kept secret, though, that Apple, their iPhone 12 or whatever they're going to call the next iPhone is likely to be 5G. What sort of effect do you think that'll have on the market? A lot of customers, they kind of wait and see what Apple are doing, and it's really not official for a lot of customers until Apple jumps in, and by all indications, they are getting into 5G. What do you think that's going to do to the 5G adoption?
Oh, look, you know, Apple's got significant market share in Australia, and they do have a lot of clout with the way people think and people buy. I think if Apple leads the way and starts to launch 5G devices, then by default, all the competition is going to start launching 5G devices. So before you know it, whether you use 5G or not, you're still probably going to end up with a 5G device. So it really does mean that if Apple launches a 5G device, it's going to increase the exposure, the awareness, and the availability of 5G devices. Then we all have to jump on the bandwagon because we've got no choice.
Mate, good luck with the launch of TCL. Hope you guys do well with that, and we look forward to chatting to you soon.
Thanks, mate.
So there you have it, the TCL 10 Pro, it's $749. The TCL 10L is $449. You can check out our full reviews at techguide.com.au. We really appreciate you taking the time to watch our video, and feel free to subscribe to the Tech Guide channel. Thanks for watching.